Hi, welcome to week 2 of Food of the Week, and today it's all about nutrition.
Play, play, play along. Come on and play along. Play, play, play along. Come on and play along.
So today we're going to be talking about nutrition. Now, I've been a home ec teacher I was a home ec teacher for 35 years, and while teaching child development or parenting classes, or I taught a real fun class about singles living, which was really fun. It's so important to know about why we eat. Now this is a sign for why. It comes off your head into a Y. So we have to eat so that we can get all the nutrition from the food. That's so important. I would normally spend 2 weeks minimum on this topic. So I'm going to take those 2 weeks and condense it down into this short little video. It's just a little blurb. But I'd spend like a whole day or more on each nutrient because I find it to be so important. So if you look up here, we have basic nutrients up here into different categories. And that's sort of how we're going to divide up the different segments in the upcoming weeks, all right? This one up here is water. This is a sign for water, okay? Very important that we get enough water because our bodies are largely a whole bunch of water. You have to have water in order to make your blood flow. You have to have water to make everything else work. So the first one up there is water. Next one up there is protein. Now the sign for protein, there's a couple different ones because all your DNA is made out of protein. So you can make 2 peahens here, okay? And then this one kind of twists off. It's sort of like the helix of your DNA or your RNA, right? Or you can do these and kind of swirl them out like that, okay? So this would be the sign for protein. So why do we need protein? Because this is what builds our muscles, all right? All of our muscles are made out of protein. So you're going to make a bend your elbow and you're going to take a flat hand and tap, I call this your elbow pit. You're going to tap that. It's a sign for muscle. But it's not just like these kind of muscles, like your biceps and your triceps and all those. Your heart is a muscle. So to sign the word heart, you're going to take like a 5 hand, but bend that middle finger and tap where your heart is. Your heart is a muscle. Your brain is a muscle. Your lungs are muscles. So we have to have protein to build all those muscles throughout your body. Our next category up here is carbohydrates. Now there's no real sign for carbohydrates, so we're going to spell it C-A-R-B. We need our carbs, right? Okay, and so why do we need carbohydrates? This is our main source of energy. Now to do energy, you're going to take your pointer finger and trace it from your shoulder down to your elbow, down in here. So this is the sign for energy. It sort of looks like we're tracing a muscle, but I guess when you're moving, when you're sleeping, you're using your muscles, so this is a sign for energy. And we need a lot of carbohydrates throughout the day. And when we start talking about our food groups, we'll see that a lot of our foods, you know, like kind of the mainstay of that food pyramid was carbohydrates. Our next category is fat. Now these are the fats that you get from oil. So you're going to take your flat hand here and come off your hand. It's like it's dripping off. That would be all your different oils. That's where we get our fatty acids, which are really important. And fats are important also for energy because excess energy is stored in our fat cells. Okay, so that's pretty important. Our next category up here would be minerals. Now, okay, so what is a mineral? Minerals are, think of it like dirt, okay? It's in the ground. So when the plant grows up, and those minerals come out of the ground and go into the plant. So then when we eat the plant of some sort, whether it be an apple or a banana or a piece of lettuce or a carrot, whatever, those minerals go into the food. And when we eat them, we get the minerals. Or let's say an animal comes and eats that little plant, and then we eat that animal, then we get the minerals. And so there's some really important categories here. We have calcium. Calcium is what our bones and teeth are made out of. So this is a sign for bones. You're going to tap your wrist like this and then cross your arms and wiggle your fingers. This is the same sign for skeleton, would be like this, but this is bones, and our teeth are made out of calcium and phosphorus. We have to have those so that we end up with bones and teeth, right? And it's, as a little kid, you need a lot of them. As an adult, you still need to have calcium, because if you don't get it, because calcium also makes your heart beat. That's important. So if you're not getting your calcium every day, your body knows to take it out of your bones and give it to your heart, because at that point your heart's more important than your bones are. So it's important. We need iron for our blood. So the sign for blood is kind of a fun one. Okay, your blood is red, so you're going to touch your bottom lip, because this is the color red. Then you're going to take your hand and kind of dribble it on down. Okay, so this is a sign for blood. Okay, our blood is basically made out of iron. We have to have that. And then there's other minerals up there that we need for to be able to. Have you ever gotten a cramp? Okay, they are no fun. We have to have our muscles be able to relax or tighten, depending, right? If you're going to be doing work, you might need to be pulling something. You need those muscles to be able to tighten. But after you're done, you need them to be able to relax. And that's what your potassium and calcium and magnesium, that's what they all do. Okay? And then our last category is going to be vitamins. So what's a vitamin? Okay, they didn't even know what vitamins were for a long time, but they knew that you had to eat certain foods or you would get sick. So these foods that there was something in those foods, they couldn't see it, they couldn't, but they kind of figured out that these foods are important. And then through scientific research, they found vitamins, and they started labeling them. They labeled them A, B, C, D, and then they found a B1 and a B2 and a B3 and a B5 and a B6 and a B9 and a B12. Okay, so they started labeling them all. There's E and K. All are important. Because and the sign for vitamin, forgot to show you that. This is a sign for vitamin. Starts with the letter V, so it's an initialized sign. So this is vitamin. So why do we need our vitamins? They make all the minerals and the protein and the carbohydrates work. If you don't have your vitamins, like vitamin B12 makes the mineral iron work. Vitamin D, and we get that from the sunshine, that makes calcium work. Your B vitamins help make the carbohydrates and the protein work. Vitamin K is really important. It helps your blood to clot. So that if do you bruise a lot, maybe you need to eat more foods high in vitamin K. So all of them together are very important. Now, the food groups, the United States Department of Agriculture came up with a food group. Sweden was the first country to do it, and the United States jumped on board because they decided everybody needs to understand how much of what we need. So they came up with the food groups. They started in 1943, and the first food group here, as you can see, had 7. There were 7 different groups. 3 of them have to do with fruits and vegetables. And then we have our protein group and our carbohydrates, that would be your bread, cereals, and grains. And then we have our milk group, and then we even have fat and oil, food group. So it's really important that they decided that this was a good thing. Then in 1956, they came up with 4 food groups. They put all those fruits and vegetables into one food group, and they got rid of the fats and the oils. Then in 1992, and this is probably where most of you have grown up, was doing the food pyramid. The sign for pyramid is this, by the way. Okay, so they put carbohydrates down on the bottom, because that was sort of the foundation. And then we had the next group was our fruits and vegetables. And then we have a little bit less milk and protein that you need. And then way at the top was the extras. That would be your sugars and your oils, because it's sort of like, you know, like the cherry on the top or the whipped cream or the whatever, okay? And then in 2011, they came up with the plate. And that's pretty much what's on there now. If you look at some boxes of cereal, when you get them, they'll show you the plate on the back, where it divides the plate up and gives you a little glass of milk. And anyway, we're going to divide each week, we're going to be talking about kind of a different food group, okay? So keep watching, learn lots of words. So let's do a little bit of a review. Okay, remember from last week, this is food. Now we have nutrition, we have vitamin, we have protein, we have our carbs, we have our fats, what's this? Muscle, energy, right? This is your heart, we got lungs, we got a brain, oh, bones, and teeth, oh, and blood. Okay, so remember, it's red and ooh, coming down. So keep practicing these words. I find it fascinating. Okay, so just have a whole lot of fun, and we'll see you next week.
Play, play, play along. Come on and play along.